Daily lifestyle vlogs, they're everywhere, right? Eating, driving, fighting, just showing off family routines. Channels like Sourav Joshi Vlogs and countless family vloggers just completely dominate our recommendation feeds.
But here's the thing. This isn't just a happy accident. It's not about relatability or luck. There's a much deeper, very specific economic reason why these platforms are pushing personal, real-life content so aggressively.
Now, before we go any further, I want to be super clear. This is not an attack on creators. Not at all. This is simply an explanation of how the economics of digital labor and AI actually work behind the scenes. So, how did we get here? Let's break it down.
Okay, so first up, we have to understand that there's been this massive shift in what the internet actually values. We've quietly moved from an economy that was all about information to one that's all about reality.
Think about it. The old internet, it rewarded information. Things like tutorials, blogs, articles. But today, the big platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they reward something totally different. Raw human reality. Eating, sleeping, arguing. Those mundane daily routines, that's the stuff their algorithms are now built to find and promote.
And that's because of one simple, powerful economic truth. Real, unscripted human behavior is now incredibly valuable data. You could even say it's the new oil.
So why? Why is this kind of data so valuable all of a sudden? Well, this gets us to the technical heart of the matter, AI's absolutely insatiable hunger for reality.
For the longest time, when we thought about training an AI, we were basically just feeding it text. Dumping in all of Wikipedia, a bunch of books, countless articles. But trust me, that phase is over.
Today is a completely different ballgame. You've got companies like Google with their Gemini model and Tesla with its Optimus humanoid robot. They are building AIs that have to understand the real physical world, our homes, our roads, our emotions, and our gestures.
And this is exactly why Hollywood movies are basically useless for this task. They're totally scripted, they're perfectly polished, and they're completely unrealistic. An AI trained on perfect lighting and choreographed fight scenes would be utterly lost in the real world. No. If an AI is going to understand a messy Indian kitchen or navigate the absolute chaos of Delhi traffic, it needs the real deal. It needs unfiltered real life. It needs vlogs.
So this leads to the big question. How on earth do these platforms get all of this priceless data? Well, it all comes down to a very clever economic structure they built, which allows them to get it for all intents and purposes for free.
Just think about the old school way of doing this. If a company wanted this kind of data, they'd have to hire workers, install cameras in their homes, pay them actual salaries, and follow all the labor laws. The cost would be absolutely astronomical. But they didn't do that. Instead, they engineered what we all now call the creator economy. Millions of us upload our lives, chasing that dream of getting monetized. But the hard reality is that a tiny, tiny fraction, maybe the top 0.1%, actually makes significant money. The other 99.9%, they are effectively working for free. But here is the catch, and it's a huge one. 100% of the data stays with the platform. It doesn't matter if the creator gets paid or not. The platform always wins because it keeps the raw material. So let's just call it what it is. This data is being used to train massive systems like Google's Gemini and Tesla's Optimus. The people providing this data, the creators, are not on the payroll. You're not just a creator, you're an unpaid data collector. But here's the twist. Creators aren't the only ones doing the work. The viewers, you and me, we play a massive role in this too. We're basically a giant unpaid quality control department.
There's actually a fancy name for this in AI research. It's called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually incredibly simple. Your clicks are teaching the machine what to value.
Think about it. When you like a vlog, you're sending a signal to the AI that says, hey, this is positive human behavior. Pay attention. When you skip a video, you're signaling, nope, this is irrelevant. And when you comment something like, that was rude or that was so emotional, you are literally labeling the data, teaching the AI about social norms and context.
So you see the whole machine now, right? Creators produce the raw data. Viewers come along and refine it. Both are essential parts of the assembly line, and both work entirely without contracts. It might just be the most efficient data factory ever built.
And this all brings us to the final and I think most important question. Beyond the money, beyond the labor, what are we really truly giving away in this exchange?
Because the bigger issue here isn't just about the unpaid work. It's about the kind of data that we are handing over. This goes so far beyond what we buy or what ads we click on. This is deeply personal.
We are talking about intimate family moments, the behavior of our children, our rawest, most authentic emotional reactions, even our private arguments and conflicts. We are essentially uploading the source code of what it means to be human.
And as AI continues to evolve, moving beyond just understanding language and towards what are called large action models, AIs that can act in the world, these deeply intimate data sets are the exact fuel they need to learn how to predict, to simulate, and maybe one day even replicate human behavior.
Look, the point of all this isn't to say that social media is evil or that AI is evil. They're not. But being unaware of how this system really works, that is very, very costly. We just need to start seeing these platforms for what they are. They are data farms, and our human experience is the resource being harvested.
You don't have to stop creating, but you should definitely create consciously. Upload carefully. And hey, if this explainer made you think, maybe just share it with one person. Awareness spreads person to person. Stay aware, and I'll see you in the next one.